All right, let's talk about declines in reproductive abilities or outright loss of reproductive ability that happens during adulthood. And so we're going to have to break things down into what happens to somebody with a female reproductive system versus a male reproductive system. So let's start with female reproductive system. For those individuals with a female reproductive system, typically between age 45 and 55, 50 is your average, you're going to experience menopause. You might have heard of menopause. You might have some idea of what it is. I do find that sometimes students, I'm trying to keep the light from sneaking in and hitting me in the face here. So sometimes students will say, well, yeah, that's like when women get hot flashes and stuff. And I think they stop having their period, or, you know, that they might get that far if we're lucky sometimes. But basically for someone with a female reproductive system, this involves eventually completely losing the ability for reproduction, but it doesn't happen instantaneously. One kind of misconception for those who have not experienced it is often like it's instant, like, bam, oh, okay, I don't have periods anymore, I'm done. It's actually a very slow, gradual process. So you have a period of time called perimenopause. Perimenopause is where your body is kind of slowly getting there, but not quite there yet. Menopause has officially happened when someone has not had a menstrual period for a full year. Until you go a full year, you never know. You might have one more last hurrah. The author of a book called The Menopause Manifesto, Dr. Jen Gunter, in one of her books, she talked about how she hadn't had a period in 5 months and she just assumed, I must be done. And then, of course, she gets on an airplane, no products around, and then she has like this little surprise, and oh, I didn't want any more of this. So then she had to deal with trying to find products on an airplane and stuff. That can happen. So they wait until a full year, and they could also do hormonal testing and to try to get a hint at whether someone is done or almost done. But what you have is this period of time where you start to go through changes. All right. So menstrual periods will start to change in regularity. A lot of times when people will talk about you kind of not knowing when things are coming. Eventually they'll cease altogether. You have changes. A big one is changes in estrogen levels. Estrogen is responsible for all sorts of things. So drops in estrogen mean that you have certain things like natural lubrication down there. And if you think that that's icky, folks, lots of important functions come from that. It goes away without the estrogen. So dryness and pain and painful intercourse, if you're still having sexual relations, can become a big issue when someone's perimenopausal. And they also change in other hormones like progesterone and testosterone. Now, testosterone is linked to sexual arousal. So not only you might be having pain from sexual intercourse, but you also may have reduced desire for it because of the reduction in testosterone. Hormonal changes also lead to things like mood swings, possible irritability, and then a big one you might have heard, hot flashes, or in the Menopause Manifesto, she says she prefers the term hot blooms because it feels more like of a blooming sensation. When people have hot flashes, they don't just feel a little bit hot. Like if you touch their skin while having one, they actually feel hot. It's an actual temperature change in their body. They will actually have redness on their skin, on their face, just intense hot sensations spreading all over. They will also have night sweats, just waking up really hot and sweaty in the middle of the night, and just general bodily changes that are usually universally described as not pleasant at all. There are things that you can do to try to help with these problems. The most extreme is a hysterectomy, which most people are not going to get that, but for somebody who's having a lot of trouble from menopausal changes, and then the other thing too is sometimes people have to get a hysterectomy for other reasons like cancer or extreme fibroids or something. or they're a transgender man who gets approved for having a hysterectomy. And in those cases, having a hysterectomy can lead to early menopause symptoms. So, you know, if you have a hysterectomy when like you're in your 30s, you have to go through menopause early, and you have all of these unpleasant experiences as a part of that. Now, you can go through hormone replacement therapy, which it's kind of gone up and down in terms of the public view of it, because there were some controversy in the 90s with whether you can have harmful consequences or side effects from HRT, and now medical technology has gotten better with figuring out what to give, how to do it, and many people have reported that HRT can be tremendously beneficial in reducing some of these unpleasant side effects and experiences that can come along with the menopausal experience. And then once someone has completed menopause, they are no longer capable of pregnancy. They will also sometimes see bodily changes, like changes in body fat distribution, hair on their face, just from the hormones just being at different levels and things. And just normal, it happens. We don't talk about menopause a lot. A lot of people have no idea what this involves or what's coming, or there's even embarrassment and shame sometimes. And someone's trying to call me right now. Okay, folks, I had to take a call. Turns out it was an important call. All right, so we talked about menopause. Hopefully I got to finish all the important stuff about menopause. Let's talk about andropause. What the heck is that? A lot of people have not heard about that. That is what someone with a male reproductive system goes through. Now, they do not lose reproductive capability, but they see declines. And so we have things like testosterone levels drop. They will have a reduction in sexual desire, erections, possible erectile dysfunction, and reduction in muscle mass too. And so typically what they experience is not as severe, and then if they experience erectile dysfunction, there are drugs to help with that. Of course, sometimes folks think that if they are having sexual problems in the relationship, they will, get medication like Viagra, Levitra, and anything like that. They think that'll solve all their problems, and sometimes they don't realize that, well, their partner is often of menopausal age when they are of andropausal age. Most people are, partnered off with people who are fairly similar in age to them, and so sometimes they get their medication, they're like, all right, we're good to go again. And they might not realize that their partner is like, I have problems. I don't want it as much, and then I'm dealing with pain, and can we please not? Congratulations that you can maintain one of those again, but I'm not feeling it. And some individuals will, go to counseling and couples counseling, sexual counseling, just to try to work out issues that might come about from these bodily changes that are normal to be anticipated. They happen to even healthy individuals. All right, folks. So that's the information about sexual and reproductive health. Then we're going to talk a little bit about some thinking related stuff, developing expertise in adulthood.